Ik had er geen studenten die zich hebben afgemeld. Nee. Wacht ik 10 nu hier. Beginnen?
Ja.
Okay, good morning. I'm also talking to the screen a little bit over here because for the Zoom connection for those who cannot be here today. And let's see how often we can be in the building. We never know with COVID what will happen. Yeah, this lecture will be given, or this course will be given together with Hendrik Ploeger. My name is Peter van Oostel. Most of you remember me from the geodatabase course not too long ago. So this is a new course. It is a course which is included in many geomatics programs all over the world, but in Delft, until this year, we did not offer the course, and this year it's an elective. We are very happy that you selected this course, and yeah, we hope you will enjoy it. Yeah, so we are your teachers. Land administration is about managing our environment. Who is owning what? It is not only about the land, it's also who is owning the buildings or the apartments or the underground, the utilities. So the word land is maybe a bit misleading, also about the water bodies, the groundwater, very important for drinking and for growing crops. And the mixed teachers is also a bit reflecting the content of the course. Land administration is multidisciplinary. It is both legal, that is the root of being sure about the rights or restrictions that there are on land and on space in general, also the space above the land and the space below the Earth's surface. But it's also technical. We make solutions to make sure that these rights are properly registered. So the first slide, who are we and why are we here? So the first two lines about Hendrik. So Hendrik has a legal background, studied in Leiden University in the Netherlands, and then in Amsterdam. I guess Hendrik, Amsterdam is your PhD. No? Better explain yourself.
No, it's a bit complicated, but it's the general law in Leiden. I did my PhD, and then I turned to notary law. So that's also why I went with on transfer, but you will see that. So my boss then said it was very convenient when I was teaching that kind of law that I should also have a degree in notarial law myself. So that's the reason that after my PhD, I went to Amsterdam.
Okay, thanks for explaining. So double degrees, and the PhD is from Leiden. And the fact that you're now in Delft with geomatics is about your fascination for geographic information. So not only a lawyer who is saying text documents, but also looking at maps, and then not only the 2D maps we are used to, also in land administration, cadastral maps, but also 3D maps going up in the sky or down in the ground. 4D maps, what that is, okay. You can imagine it is space plus time together, and with focus on the cities and the underground, and in the underground utilities, for example, but also some infrastructure, tunnels, parts of buildings. I have a background in computer science. I studied here in Delft. Actually, when I was studying, computer science was in this building, so I got my lectures in exactly the same room as you now get your lectures. I got my PhD from Leiden University, also in computer science, but in the direction of geographic information, spatial information. And okay, my topics are like the databases, but attention for map generalization, how to simplify maps, and at the end try to get at vario scale maps, 5D modeling, so integrating space, time, and scale in one representation, point clouds, as you may have seen in the geodatabase course, for the dissemination in WebGIS, to share the data with everybody and also be able to not only share it in one way direction, but also that citizens can also contribute in the other direction to update and to complete the data sets. I do believe in standardization, so I'm active in ISO. And the topic of today, land administration, is very deep in my interest because I used to work for the Nederlands Kadaster before I joined the TU Delft, and was there involved in the system that is used for managing the parcels in the Netherlands. So we thought, who are we and why are we here? So you are only now here with 5, so there were 11 persons in Brightspace. It is a bit nice to know why you chose this elective. What is your background, your nationality, especially what countries are you interested? Because that may be relevant for what sort of assignments you will be doing later. When you started doing a bachelor, what bachelor? And if you have any experience already, it could be private experience, for example, parents buying land or a building. How did that work? Or did you not see it at all? And it was very smooth. And in the end, motivation to attend the course. Let's first do a round over here in the room. Go from left to right. Yeah. Thank you. Clear. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Adele. I just moved here from Canada. I'm also half French, so I would say my favorite country to study is now South America. I love the work. I did a bachelor in geography, focused on urban geography. I worked I was here because although I kind of technical but it's really fascinating. I've been looking for ways to connect with that to urban planning and more of a so this is so I think there might be some
Canada is a very interesting country with respect to land administration because that is organized on provincial level. So in the Netherlands, it's national level. You see that, because of the different routes. So it's Quebec and the other provinces. They did take different choices, which makes it a very interesting country. Different jurisdictions. Yeah.
I work with it. Right now, the last 10 years, that's the process. And it seems really interesting because it works on that for me. But also because we have really
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to learn something.
Yeah, good. And also, in the broader sense, land administration is not only about the rights and the restrictions, but also includes the spatial plans, because they give you a type of rights in certain areas or restrictions somehow, what you are not allowed to develop, what functions. Yeah, we really try to see, and Hendrik will explain that. So I will not explain everything now, but that belongs to the broader paradigm of land administration and land management, and also including the spatial plans, and not making the plans themselves, but once the plans are there, making sure they are available and they can be used by everybody that needs to be aware of that. So, there are strong links, even if in many countries the institutions are quite separate. And that is something we have to work on for the future, and making sure these are more connected. They don't have to be fused in one organization, but they should be aware they are working a bit in the same direction. What they do does influence what the other is doing. Okay, thanks. Next row. Yeah, good. I'm very happy that you're here. And by the way, I think in this domain, we are all a bit happy about the French legacy we have here, because Napoleon did bring the system of cadastre land administration to the Netherlands, in the same way that Napoleon did bring addresses and the obligation to go to school for the children. So very basic things, simple things you would think, but back then not simple at all. And some countries did not have Napoleon. And for example, they do not yet have such a well-developed system. And so I think in the Netherlands, we are, for the good things we got from France, and besides that, it's a very nice country, very beautiful country. We were happy to have this legacy. Okay, last person in the room. Yeah. Yeah, I think looking at the architecture, it is very important that they are also aware of the legal aspects when they are developing neighborhoods or individual buildings, especially when we think about apartments. How will the apartments be registered? And that transition from the design and construction to also the registering of the properties and the use could be improved. It's also what we try to stimulate with our research and our international activities in ISO, because also the world of spatial planning and land administration or cadastre is a bit disconnected. The same could be said about, say, architecture and cadastre or land administration, though they are also closely related. So an architecture is also planning on space, a new building, because there is rights over there. They are owning it, or they are allowed to develop a certain new property. Okay, then we switch to the online persons. Marjolein, can you open your camera and say a little bit about your background?
My camera doesn't work, but I can.
So I will try to make the speaker a bit louder on my system.
Okay.
Can you try again?
Yes, so I'm Marjolein. I'm from the Netherlands, and I have a background in industrial design engineering. Do you hear me?
Sorry, Marjolein, we really cannot hear you, and I have the speaker at maximum at the moment. But I heard that you have a bachelor in architecture, which is
In industrial design engineering.
really cannot hear it. Sorry. No. The signals here.
And then the speaker, maybe same as system.
Okay, let's try again. Marjolein, can you try again?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You're loud and clear. Thanks for the tip, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, please start again.
Yeah, so I have a bachelor in industrial design engineering, and I'm from the Netherlands. So, yeah.
And reasons for doing this course?
I don't know. It's interesting to me to look at land, and I don't have any experience in this, but it just sounds interesting to me.
Okay, thank you. Then the last person online, the second person, Rohit, who I know very well because he's doing master thesis. Rohit, please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, everyone. I have the Dutch nationality, but I was born in Suriname, which is also my second favorite country. I did a bachelor in clinical technology, and the reason why I chose to do a master in geomatics is because several aspects of the bachelor that corresponded with aspects of the master I found very interesting. Well, the experience as well as the motivation to attend this course is that I'm currently working on my master thesis, which has to do with land administrations. And that is also why I want to follow this course, since it might provide with extra knowledge and insights to help me with my thesis.
Okay, Rohit, thank you very much. And yeah, your thesis is about the underground and then the legal space over there, so including utilities and the tunnels. So I'm happy that you joined the course, and yeah, maybe I'll learn additional things which are in the broader context of your thesis very yeah, relevant, more the fundamentals, the principles. Okay, so you know who we are, and we know a little bit who you are, at least the 7 persons that are online or in the room. Let's continue. Oh, now it's going too fast. Yeah, I showed this slide before at the introduction. This is a new course, but it's not a new field for us. We are doing research in this area for a long time. And also geomatics master students yeah, helped with several topics with this research. And yeah, you see a list of students next to them, Rohit, who is now working on the topic. And I will also yeah, give you some demonstrations of their yeah, thesis projects and what they yeah, achieved. And I think these are very important yeah, contributions. Practical information, yeah, maybe you already know this, the course description, bright space, the video also announced earlier. We will have 8 weeks, 1 lecture on Tuesday at this hour, the 3rd and the 4th hour in this room. Then we have 4 assignments, and each assignment is 2 weeks, so that's a bit more relaxed than having an assignment every week and yeah, have to deliver on time. We would like to do the assignments in pairs. So hopefully, there were 11 students registered, but hopefully we can make pairs either with 10 or maybe just 8 students. And if not, we can make a group of 3 or a group of 1 if somebody prefers. But I think it is nicer to do these assignments together. In addition to the lectures and assignments, you are also supposed to do the self-study, the reading material, which is really needed, and also to work on the assignments besides the work in the GEO lab. exam on 11 April. Yeah, because of the COVID rules, and yeah, we do it both on site and online, as long as it is, yeah, kind of realistic. If more people are infected with COVID than there are in the room, not with COVID, then we continue here on site. When the majority is having COVID but still rather fit, and then we probably say, let's do it completely online, because that is more convenient. So yeah, let's be flexible and let's hope that COVID does not catch us, and let's be careful with that. But yeah, if half of the population of Europe gets it, probably we will not be very different. Here are the 8 lectures. So today the introduction, and Hendrik will continue with the basic principles of land tenure, the rights, restrictions, responsibilities, different legal systems, how you transfer ownership, how you transfer rights more in general. And also next week, Hendrik will give the lecture. And yeah, next to the legal foundation, also look at the systems that are in place, and yeah, the key registrations that are relevant for land administration. That I will do 2 weeks. I will look at cadastral data, technical sides, the data model, standardization, what was in Europe, expired cadastral parcels, the ISO activity on land administration. Also have a look at the future with 3D land administration, look at the databases, and also at the visualization, big number 4. Then 5 and 6 is back to Hendrik, where he will then indeed pay attention to including spatial plan information, the principles, the zoning, also systems, the information systems, and the interoperability between, say, spatial plans and land tenure, or rights and restrictions. This is a bit government organized, but there are also private information systems going in the direction of smart cities, that needs to support technologies such as blockchain to make sure that the information is secure and transparent. Title insurance, something we don't know in the Netherlands, at least not that I'm aware of, but is very well known in other countries such as the United States. The last 2 weeks are lectures by me again, so it will be about including valuation. So what is the value of a property? That was also the reason why Napoleon did introduce the cadastre in the Netherlands, because he wanted to get revenues, tax from the citizens in the Netherlands to pay his army. And then he said, okay, you have to pay tax based on your property, on how big your land is. And this is still one of the applications. Valuation is like spatial planning, an own discipline with different techniques to do valuation, with different methods in different countries. But in the end, the result and the value of a property, a parcel, or a building is something that we would like to be more transparent. And there are interesting things here. Supporting time series in the Netherlands every year, again and again, every parcel, every building is evaluated again. It's not done manually, but with existing data sets. And the last lecture is about spatial sources, about surveying, how do boundaries, how are they surveyed, what techniques are being used, and how to connect the survey data to the cadastral map, to the 2D and the 3D cadastral maps, and the new developments. And especially in 3D, it's not only survey, also designs are used to attach say, ownership rights too. So this is roughly the content of the lectures. Then the 4 assignments. So assignment 1, which will start tomorrow, is about analyzing how a certain country has organized the land administration. What are the laws? What are the institutions? How complete is the coverage? What are the services offered? So how can you access the information? How does the transfer of ownership works? How many days does it take, for example? You get instructions tomorrow, what you should include in your analysis. And the idea is that in the first day, we start with the assignment, small introduction, first discussion, if everything is clear, also making the pairs or the groups. The idea is that we have different groups every time. And in the beginning, and we can discuss today or tomorrow, either we can decide for you to make a random groups, or you can make your group yourself. And then we will put this into Brightspace. I know I messed up big in the GeoDatabase course by making a mess of the groups. I hope I learned from that and do better this time. So that is tomorrow, and then after 1 week, every group gives a short presentation on the Wednesday on the results obtained so far. That's not yet a report, but say the key points, bullets on slides, maybe some pictures, some illustrations. And then 2 other persons will be asked, and we will go by tours to reflect on the findings of one group. And maybe give tips that you look here, that you look there, or what are your plans for the second week. And then in the second week, you have to complete it, and you have to submit a written report, which will be assessed by us, by the teachers. And the score will be, it's sufficient or it's not sufficient. And hopefully, we hope that you are able to get sufficient results. About the assessment, the exam is in principle the complete value of the final assessment. So 100 points, so that is a 10. The assessments give you, say, 10 bonus points, so you can get 11 or 110 points. And if that happens, we will round off to 10. This is the maximum score possible in the system. But it helps you a bit with the exam. I think I told this about the assignments. It works in the pairs, and every assignment a different group. Okay, last slide from my side, the introduction side. Course is new, so we are setting up, and we are also happy that you are here. We are also happy that the room is not completely full, so it's a bit. Yeah, you're also a bit guinea pigs, to say it polite. So please give feedback if you think our lectures are not clear, reading material is too much or not enough, or some reading materials are really very good. We also like to hear these things that we should keep for sure. The topic is, as said, not new to us. Both Hendrik and me, we have been working for several decades in this area. Sounds like we are old, which is also kind of true, especially compared to you. We are also old. Please let us know what you think, both during the course, when we can still change it for you, but also at the end of the course, when you can sit back, fill in an evaluation. So for now, I hope you really like the course. You think the topic is interesting. I can remember, a personal story, when I started to work for the Netherlands Cadastre, I first thought, okay, that is not interesting at all. It's the most boring maps. If you're used to other maps, This topographic maps, nice and colorful, of spatial plan maps, very interesting with all these colors of zones. Then the cadastral maps, just simple black lines with some numbers, partial numbers, which are not so meaningful. But during the time that I worked there, I started to appreciate that this is probably the most important geoinformation that there is, because it is structuring the life of people, security of individuals, but also government can do fair taxation. And there is so much close connections to the life of people that it is really very important. And it's probably the most detailed map, and the most precise map. And centimeters do matter in the city, 10 centimeter. People can make an argument about that. Okay, that's it from my side. I now start the slides for Hendrik. Yeah.
Will the type of assignment you want to be analyzing, doing research, and then reporting back, rather than, I was wondering if you would be applying in the decrease management, for example, or.
No, it's more say theoretic assignment. So study the organizational, the legal aspects, and also the services that are available to the society. Not per se how it's technically managed. If you have interesting technical facts, they are also done in the document. Or you have to even say better about the assignment because you have a great first assignment. I think that's not the intention to the technology. That's more the technical assignments. Then you will discuss
I'm doing boring stuff.
not boring.
And Peter is doing the really innovation.
Without the law, there would be no parcel. Parcel is the final animal.
And by the way, you also told half of my lecture, and also next week, Napoleon will deal next week. Yeah, it's very interesting to see your background as students. I'm teaching now for 20 years here for geomatics. However, my legal background is still strong. Yeah, what we are going to do is my first lectures. That's really about the basics. What is it about? Already we have confusion because we use land administration, but as you read, Jaap Zevenberg's story. In fact, there's this book, this PhD thesis about 20 years ago. You will see that different terminology, also land information systems. I think we don't use that anymore. Also, multi-purpose cadastre. When I started in this field, and also attending, you can come from Greece, so I'm very familiar with people working on improving the system. And at the time, multi-purpose cadastre was very popular, and now we don't speak anymore about it, but still there are the same concepts. So I'm going to take you with that, so main terminology, and that you are able to compare the systems. And so from tomorrow, you're going to work on your own system. Select. Can be any country except the Netherlands. Of course, please be aware about language. For instance, last year we had India, and the problem about India is it's very, now it's not really a problem, it's a very fascinating country. But their whole system, the government is dealing in their local language, state language. So not much information in English. So avoid a country like that. Now, rights, restrictions and responsibilities. Peter has mentioned it several times. I'm going to delve deeper in it. That will be the second lecture. And of course, also to understand the whole role of land administration. What is it doing when we want to transfer or create rights in land. By the way, I don't consider you to be guinea pigs, but contributors. The nice thing about a small group is that you can help us to develop this course. So please don't wait until the last moment to say, yeah, all that legal stuff is boring. Tell it directly. I'm not dangerous, and Peter is also not dangerous. I know him for a long time. So you can tell us directly and give insights and say what can be improved, but also what can we keep. Yeah, first terminology. Interesting, of course. I think that students from with an architecture background, BC, can explain this better. But land has a lot of aspects, and I think we can talk about this for hours. And you see here that. Oh, I think I have to make this smaller. That's now. Yeah. Yeah, of course, land, that's the basic of our foundation. Without land, we are not here. So we have land, we can get the stuff from it to build, to create, to live, crops. But there is also, of course, the whole idea of cultural element. We are connected with land. All of you have a second favorite country. That means you like that land. Rights and obligations, again, that's boring stuff, but someone is owning the land, so then put a fence around it and say, no, you're not going to walk on it. And yeah, two pictures I made myself. One is not really rural, it's non-urban area in the Netherlands, meadows, and of course, more interesting in the urban area, like the city. Here is a boring map Peter mentioned, that's a map. And now something that also Peter mentioned. Of course, we're dealing, I think, the last one still with the 2D. We do think that we are living in a flat world, flat land, everything is 2D. Of course, that's not true, and we all know it, but that is the reason I put in that other picture in emphasis that we're dealing with the third dimension. It's not only the underground, not only what we can see, but also the space above. And in fact, Ploeger, however, we are still working in most cases with flat maps, 2D maps. In fact, what this pedestrian trying, the land administration trying to go to get a whole picture. It's about this, air rights, development rights, and build homes. And a lot of rights also in water, mineral rights, all important. And in fact, what land administration wants to do is to make a whole picture of it, a model that we can get information from. Talking a lot about land administration. Now, I just took a definition, and that's not something you should learn by heart. It's also not the ultimate definition, the just definition, but by the United Nations. And what I say, I just want to point out a few things. The process, to start with that, that's interesting to see that it's a process. It's also not about getting all the information, put it in a book, and that's it. So static. Now it is about the process. We are updating all the time. And I think that's also one of the main challenges. Peter mentioned about how long does it take to put the transfer of a piece of land from A to B in the whole system. Is there someone who is going to investigate everything? Is it correct? And maybe it's going to take 8 days, maybe a month. Or is it a very fast system that at the moment the deed is signed, that the same deed as an electronic document is sent to an office, and there the computer will change immediately A to B, now the new owner is B. That's the whole process, and now very simplified way I'm telling, but that is in fact what we are doing. It's also our job as scientists here at Delft University, but many other universities have been going to improve that process. So we are now not satisfied with, now we have now a clear picture, we have now a nice map, now we have to think, and there's also, I think, your question about the whole database, but that's how should we create it? Not the perfect system, maybe you still try to make the perfect system, but Peter is working very hard on improving the system. And it's ongoing work. And again, I'm gray, you're gray, so we're old. So I hope that you will take over that work. Ongoing work. Okay, there's a lot of words about process, but then we see about collecting information, putting it in the system, and also this amendment taking about rotten English, that we can give that information to people, or the whole way around, that people can go to the system and get the information out of it. So not a black box, now it should be available. Now, what about that information is about? And then you can doubt about this definition because it's a bit limited, but it is the core. It's about ownership, so rights in land, the value, again, the Napoleon idea. And then I have to say that not only Napoleon wanted to take money from us, but the great thing about Napoleon was that he wanted to take money in a fair way. So that you're paying part of your value and not at random. And that was the reason why he wanted a good cadastre with reliable maps. That was, of course, the beginning 200 years ago. But that's important, and so that value I take now out, that also reflects that a good system of land administration should give confidence to the citizens. That you can rely on it, that you can also rely that the government is using that information and not saying, okay, we make a decision at random. We want to expropriate someone. No, we don't care who is the owner. We just send money to what we think. So now it should be a reliable system that we can rely on it, that the government knows who's the real owner. And final thing also about the use. Then we will see that traditional cadastre was about recording what the actual use is, but the modern system of land administration is about lecture 6 and 7. We will also look in the land use planning, especially in urban setting. And then we are not only speaking about the actual use, but also about the permitted use, or the use we want. Reach, no, that's not a good expression, but you will understand it's also an important architecture. We're dealing about creating the use that's the best use of the land. Now, okay, and then the last thing now, of course, land associated sources, now that's dealing with that 3D aspect. It's not only what we can see, but also, for instance, minerals, the water, but also the air. Okay, now it is 11:30, so we have a break of 50 minutes, and then I will continue with my lecture. Coffee time, yes.